Okay, so allow me to talk quickly about an open market sale. We're going to start by talking about banks and people down here. People want money. We want money to go buy cars and to go to college and to start businesses and buy houses and things like that. In order to get that much money, often we have to go to banks and ask them for the money, right? We get loans from them. Well, banks have money right here. And so if we go ask for some money from the bank looks at how much money it has and is like, we'll give you some of that. So they give some of the money to the people. The people are happy and the banks have money to do banking stuff, and that's all fair and good. However, watch this. What if the Federal Reserve wants to influence how much money banks give to us? What they can do is one thing they can do, there's a lot, but one of the things they can do is they can perform what we call an open market sale. An open market sale is when the Federal Reserve takes a government savings bond, okay, which even though the government and the Fed are separate from each other, the Fed can go to the government and get savings bonds like anytime it wants because they're like BFFs. So the Fed will go get a savings bond from the government, and then it will go to banks and be like, hey, we will sell you this savings bond. Now, banks would do this because a savings bond is like an investment. If you get a savings bond, that means that in the future, you're going to get your money back. Whatever you paid for that, you'll get that money back with interest. So banks buy and sell these all the time. So the Fed will sell the bond to banks. And because it's been sold, that means the bank has to pay for it, right? And so that's going to mean some of the money from the bank is going to go up here to the Fed, which really, once it's up there, it might as well just not exist anymore because the Fed isn't going to like go spend it at Best Buy or a car dealership, right? It goes to the Fed, and that essentially takes it out of circulation. Okay, so now when you go to the bank asking for a loan, I shouldn't say because it's not a bad thing, but they don't have as much money anymore. Originally, remember they had a lot of money, so they felt fine giving you some money, and they still had some money for themselves. Now they don't have as much. And so when you ask for a loan, they might be like, yeah, we'll give you a little bit, but not all of it. You know what I mean? So now what we've seen is that by performing an open market sale, the Fed has influenced how much money you get from the bank. Rather than getting a loan of $200,000, the bank now is only going to give you a loan of $100,000. So that is one tool of monetary policy, and it can explain how to kind of slow down the economy through making loans smaller. Now, what about the other kind of thing? Or what about the other kind of open market operation? What about an open market purchase? Well, here what we're doing is we're going to see that the Fed is now going to purchase this bond back from the bank, and that's going to allow the bank to get more cash, which will then allow it to lend more money to us. So the way that this works is that the Federal Reserve, whenever they want, they can snap their fingers, and the U.S. Treasury will just give them cash, okay? I'm probably oversimplifying it, but that's essentially what it feels like. They get cash, and then what they do with this cash is they go and purchase, that's the key word, the bonds that are out there in the economy, or at least some of them, from banks. So banks are like, oh, purchase it from me, purchase it from me. And so they're like, here. Whoop. So the Fed gets the bond back, and they purchase it or they pay for it with money. Now that the bank has more money, when people like you and me come to get a loan, they're like, sure, here, have money. Now there's more money in the economy. Now there's more money for you to go buy a car, buy a house, start a business, et cetera, et cetera. So by purchasing the bond, it gets the bond out of the bank's hands into the Fed, and in return, the Fed puts money into the bank, which then eventually will get into our pockets. That's open market purchase.